Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Karin Hilgersom, president of Truckee Meadows Community College. Welcome to Coffee with Doc Karin. It is my pleasure today to have a nice coffee chat with nursing faculty member, Heidi Julius. Welcome, Heidi.
Hello.
So my first question, Heidi, for you is, in 2019, you passed the prestigious exam to become a certified medical surgical registered nurse. So how do you use this experience in the TMCC classroom?
You know, there's been so many ways that I've used this certification in the classroom, not only in the classroom theory setting, but also in our laboratory setting, in the clinical setting for our students. In 25 years, nursing has changed immensely, just like we've seen with COVID. And, you know, things get turned around and upside down really fast. And having this certification keeps me current in what is happening out in the clinical setting. And I can bring it into the classroom setting because, like right now, COVID isn't in our textbooks, but it is a reality that nurses are facing. So I have that ability to bring that information right into the clinical setting because of my certification, because I have sort of like a gateway into some resources that some people don't always have, especially some of the nursing faculty have. So that's just one of the ways. It's also given me confidence in my practice that I can carry on to other students. It's just been extending my education, also keeping current on current practices.
Which is so fantastic for TMCC students. It really is. The other thing that's pretty fantastic is that TMCC, and I know that you and the nursing team and the nursing director, Jody Covert, worked really hard to bring a Bachelor of Science of Nursing degree to TMCC through our RN to BSN program. And so I was so excited that the program recently received the first applicant, which is terrific.
So in 2010, the Institute of Medicine and the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation came up with an initiative to have not all, but 80% nurses by 2020 to be BSNs. And since there's not a huge BSN population around here, our director, Jody Covert, went out and talked to all the nurse executives and said, hey, this is the directive that's out. What would you think about TMCC pursuing a BSN program? And they were like, oh yeah, that's what we want. So that's what sort of initiated the whole RN to BSN program for us. In addition, the research shows that there's better patient outcomes, meaning one example would be after a patient's discharged from the hospital, they're not readmitted for the same thing. It also opens up leadership opportunities to current BSN students. Then it also leads, it's a sort of a segue into a master's of nursing. And, you know, we all, in the future, we're going to need master prepared nurses to be, to serve our population as practitioners.
So it sounds like now we have a very well lighted pathway all the way to the potential for a master's in nursing and maybe even a physician's assistant, which is really good. So the other thing that made me really excited, in addition to having our first applicant to the BSN program, is that 100% of our nursing students last semester passed the NCLEX exam, which is really, really commendable. Can you talk about how students have been able to continue their learning processes even during COVID-19? How did the clinical hours and the extra safety protocols that I know you've put in place, how has this helped students continue their important work as frontline healthcare workers?
You know, last March, when we heard that we weren't going to be allowed into the hospital setting, we all were like, the faculty here at TMCC, the nursing program, we were like, what are we going to do? So we all met and sort of decided and actually took student input and sort of created a plan for them to continue their education. There were many programs that were totally shutting down, saying, you know what, you're not going to get your nursing degree until everything settles down. But our students said, no, we want to continue and get our nursing degree so we can get out there and start and help our community. And so after that feedback and after all the talk, we decided that we were going to do virtual clinicals, which help us go forward. Some of the things that I did in my class, I teach second semester nursing, is our program is pretty proficient in the Canvas platform. I think the things that we had to do to grow was like using Big Blue Button and using Zoom to really facilitate student interaction. And I can say that I was on the verge of finishing the ACU class that was offered. And I will tell you, what I learned in that class was so relevant to what happened to us. It was just like I learned it and then I could immediately apply it to what I was doing. And so I was just like, whoa, what a perfect time to finish this class. And then the other thing that really helped out a lot was I went to a professional development with Dr. Megan Gray, and she talked about how to engage students. And I took a lot of her tips and used them in my class. And I will tell you, students just raved about how in touch we kept with them, because we would do town hall meetings. I would, my office hours, I literally sat for 5 hours on Big Blue Button. So anytime a student had any questions, they could come in immediately and they could be answered. Because I feel that that was one of the things that could possibly be missed. And I didn't want that to happen with our nursing students.
So, well, that leads us to our last question. First of all, I read your tenure track portfolio. It was incredible. And I was pleased to see how many faculty on the tenure track took advantage of the ACU program. So it's wonderful to hear how you just shared your story of how the timing of that was just incredible for you. So congratulations on receiving tenure. I'm so glad that you're at TMCC, because your passion for students is so easy to spot during this Coffee with Karin episode. So here's my question. So during the tenure process, there's a lot of service that you also do for the college, for the community. Which of the activities in your service area of the tenure process helped you the most with your teaching and your career?
You know, I came from a for-profit college. And so when I came to TMCC, I really didn't understand the community college. And I think the whole tenure process was positive for me. It helped me really understand the bones of TMCC and how decisions are made, and just how important community college is in the area. I think one of the most beneficial things that happened to me was my tenure committee's evaluations. And they were so excellent. They gave me such wonderful feedback on how to approach certain things, how to keep students engaged. And they're like, well, you're doing this really well, keep it up. And so that, that made me feel like, oh, I'm doing what I need to do. And then I also volunteered with some of the student activities here on campus, which I was able to make connections with students. Just the whole tenure process. I had, even though it was hard, but I loved it. It was an absolute fantastic experience for me.
That's just music to my ears, Heidi. That's really fabulous. So Heidi, thank you so much for sharing a bit of your valuable time with me today during Coffee with Doc Karin. It's been a pure pleasure. And I want to say to those of you who are listening, I'll be chatting with Erica Gonzalez next, a TMCC student who is working in our marketing department. And so with that, have a great day. And remember, you make a difference.